In exactly 72 hours, everything changed for Alex Eala. This isn't a story about winning Grand Slams, it's about something far more powerful, a single moment so raw and authentic that it didn't just go viral, it rewrote the rules of modern stardom. At 19, Alex Eala wasn't supposed to be here, not yet. She was a prospect, talented but unknown beyond tennis circles. For years she'd been grinding through challenger tournaments and ITF circuits, representing the Philippines with fierce pride but carrying impossible expectations. Every match felt like it carried the weight of an entire nation that hadn't produced a global tennis star in decades. Her journey was sacrifice personified, early mornings when most teenagers were asleep, late nights when her peers were living normal lives, endless travel where prize money barely covered expenses. She'd shown brilliance, a junior Grand Slam title in 2022, but the jump from junior success to professional dominance is where most careers crumble. Back home, every win became a national celebration, but every loss felt like betrayal. The pressure was suffocating, yet Alex never complained, never showed weakness, just kept pushing forward. Her team believed in her, saw something special, but belief doesn't pay bills. Sponsorships were modest, media coverage limited. She was respected but not revered, talented but not iconic, existing in that agonizing space between potential and actualization where one breakthrough could change everything. But until that moment arrived, she was just another hopeful waiting for her chance. Something was building inside her though, a quiet confidence that her moment was coming, that all the sacrifices were preparing her for something bigger. She didn't know when or how, but deep down Alex knew that when the world finally turned its attention her way, she'd be ready, because too much was riding on it, her dreams, her family's sacrifices, her country's hopes, everything she'd worked for her entire life. The quiet before the storm was ending. It was a second-round match at a WTA 250 tournament in Southeast Asia, not a Grand Slam, not even a premier event, the kind that would barely make local sports pages. Alex, ranked just outside the top 100, faced a seasoned European opponent in the 60s. On paper it was winnable, but paper doesn't account for momentum or those unexpected moments that define careers. The first set was tight, both players trading powerful ground strokes, testing patience. Alex played smart tennis, not trying to overpower but waiting for the right moments to attack. The crowd, packed with Filipino fans, erupted with every point she won. She took the first set in a tiebreak, the stadium roaring. But the second set shifted. Her opponent adjusted, started hitting deeper, taking time away. Errors crept into Alex's game, a double fault here, a missed forehand there. The momentum changed, the crowd grew nervous. Alex fought back, breaking serve to level at 4-all, but her opponent broke right back. The match was slipping away. At 4-5, serving to stay in the set, Alex faced match point. Her opponent hit a return that clipped the baseline, or did it? The line judge called it out, the umpire confirmed Alex's point, but her opponent demanded a review, pointing at the mark on clay. The umpire climbed down, inspected the mark, and after an eternity, overruled the call. The ball was in, match point stood. The crowd exploded in protest. Alex stood at the baseline, hands on her hips, staring at the umpire in disbelief. What happened next was captured on every camera. Alex didn't yell, didn't throw her racket. Instead, she walked slowly to the net, looked directly at her opponent with quiet intensity, and said something that would be lip-read and analyzed millions of times. Then she turned to the crowd, raised her hand, and smiled, not a defeated smile, not bitter, but a smile that said, "I see you, I hear you, and I'm not backing down." She went back to the baseline and on the very next point hit a clean ace down the tee. The crowd went insane. She held serve, forced a tiebreak, and won the match in straight sets as her opponent crumbled under pressure. But it wasn't the win that made headlines, it was that moment, that look, that smile. Cameras caught it from every angle, her composure under pressure, her quiet defiance, her refusal to let controversy break her. Within minutes the clip was online, within an hour it was trending, within 24 hours it had over 10 million views. The world had just discovered Alex Eala, and they couldn't look away. In 48 hours, Alex went from promising player to global phenomenon. The clip spread like wildfire across every platform. TikTok creators dissected her body language, Instagram pages posted slow-motion edits with dramatic music, Twitter debates raged about whether the call was fair, whether her reaction was justified, whether she was hero or just lucky. But one thing was undeniable, everyone was talking about her. The video hit 30 million views across platforms within 48 hours. ESPN featured it on SportsCenter, Tennis Channel ran a full segment, international news sites published articles asking who is Alex Eala? Her Instagram followers skyrocketed from 200,000 to over 2 million in a weekend. Her name trended in 15 countries. She'd become overnight one of the most recognizable faces in women's tennis. But it wasn't just tennis fans paying attention. Athletes from other sports started reposting the clip. NBA players, NFL stars, even celebrities who'd never discussed tennis were sharing it with captions like "ice in her veins" and "this is what a champion looks like." The crossover appeal was massive. Alex had transcended tennis, becoming a symbol of grace under pressure, of composure in chaos, of a young woman refusing to be intimidated. People didn't just admire her tennis, they connected with her authenticity, her refusal to be anything but herself in extreme adversity. The media frenzy intensified. Journalists scrambled to book interviews, morning shows reached out, podcast hosts sent invitations. Everyone wanted a piece of the story. But Alex didn't rush into the spotlight. She stayed focused on the tournament, advancing through the next 2 rounds before losing in the semifinals. Even in defeat, she handled herself with the same calm confidence that had gone viral. In her post-match press conference, asked about the moment, her response was perfect. She didn't gloat, didn't bash the opponent or umpire, simply said, "I trusted myself, that's all I could do in that moment." That quote became a meme, a motivational poster, a rallying cry. The viral explosion wasn't slowing down. Fan edits flooded social media. Reaction videos from tennis legends praising her poise were shared millions of times. Even casual sports fans who didn't follow tennis were suddenly invested in Alex's story. She'd captured something rare, a moment so perfectly timed, so universally relatable that it resonated far beyond sport itself. But while millions celebrated, something bigger was happening behind the scenes. The corporate world had noticed and they were ready to move. Within 72 hours of the viral moment, Alex's management team was drowning in emails. Nike, Adidas, Puma, Rolex, Tag Heuer, Red Bull, Gatorade, Wilson, Yonex, brands that typically took months to evaluate sponsorships were suddenly rushing to schedule meetings. The offers weren't incremental upgrades, they were massive multi-million-dollar endorsements, long-term partnerships, global ambassador roles, contracts reserved for Grand Slam champions and Olympic medalists, and Alex hadn't even cracked the top 50 yet. What made this unprecedented was the speed. Brands don't usually move this fast. They analyze data, conduct research, project ROI over years. But this was different. Alex's viral moment delivered something money can't buy: authenticity. She wasn't manufactured, wasn't scripted. That moment of composure, that smile, that quiet confidence, it was real. And in an era where audiences are skeptical of polished campaigns, authenticity is the most valuable currency. Brands saw an opportunity to align with someone who felt genuine, relatable, inspiring. Nike was reportedly most aggressive, seeing in Alex what they'd seen in Serena Williams, Naomi Osaka, and Coco Gauff, not just an athlete but a cultural icon in the making. Sources claimed Nike's offer included apparel, footwear, a signature line, with bonuses tied to Grand Slam performance and social media milestones. Adidas countered, emphasizing her Filipino heritage, promising campaigns centered around representing Southeast Asia on the global stage. Rolex, known for selective partnerships, saw her composure under pressure as perfect embodiment of their brand values. But it wasn't just sports giants. Tech companies wanted in. A major smartphone brand reached out about becoming the face of their Asia-Pacific campaign. A luxury skincare line saw her as perfect ambassador for their Grace Under Pressure collection. Even non-endemic companies with nothing to do with sports were trying to find angles to partner with her. The feeding frenzy was unlike anything her management had seen for a player at her level. Alex's team had to move carefully. Signing wrong deals could pigeonhole her, overexposure could dilute her brand, but right partnerships could set her up financially for life and give her resources to focus entirely on tennis without financial stress. The pressure was immense, but this time it was the good kind, the kind from having options, from being wanted, from finally being seen. After years grinding in obscurity, Alex was now in the driver's seat, and every major brand in the world wanted to be along for the ride. But not everyone was celebrating. The backlash came fast. As Alex's star skyrocketed, critics emerged from every corner. They called it manufactured hype, media manipulation, a lucky viral moment that didn't reflect true talent. Tennis purists argued she hadn't earned this attention, she hadn't won a Grand Slam, hadn't even won a WTA title, so how could someone outside the top 100 command this spotlight? The criticism was harsh and relentless. Some former players weighed in, subtly questioning whether the moment was overblown. One retired champion said in a podcast, "Viral moments are great, but they don't win you majors. The real test is consistency." The implication was clear: Alex was a flash in the pan. Social media amplified these takes. Threads dissecting her match record appeared. Stats showing her losses to lower-ranked players were shared with captions like "This is who brands are throwing millions at." The trolls came out in full force, and the hate was personal. But Alex's fans fought back just as hard, flooding comments with support, posting highlight reels of her best matches, reminding critics she was 19, still developing, still learning. They pointed out her composure under pressure was exactly the mentality that creates champions. The tennis community was divided. Some saw her as the future, others as overhyped. The debate raged on every platform, and it only made her more famous. Behind the scenes, Alex was struggling with the attention. In a rare candid interview weeks later, she admitted, "I didn't expect this, I didn't ask for it, I just played my game and tried to stay calm. Now everyone has an opinion about me and half don't even watch tennis." Her honesty was refreshing. She wasn't pretending to be unfazed, acknowledged the pressure, the criticism, the weight of sudden fame, but also made clear she wasn't going anywhere. Her team was strategic in managing the narrative, carefully selecting which interviews she'd do, which brand she'd align with, how she'd present herself publicly. They knew backlash was part of the process. Every athlete who rises fast faces it. Naomi Osaka faced it, Coco Gauff faced it, Emma Raducanu faced it. The key was not letting it define her. So Alex stayed focused, kept training, kept competing, and slowly her results started backing up the hype. A quarter-final here, a semi-final there, her ranking climbed. The critics didn't disappear, but their voices got quieter. What the backlash revealed was something deeper. It wasn't really about Alex, it was about how fame works now, how a single moment can change everything, how social media has redefined what it means to be a star. The old gatekeepers, Grand Slam titles, traditional rankings, still mattered, but they weren't the only path anymore. Alex had found a different door, and whether people liked it or not, she'd walked through it. So where does she stand now? Today Alex Eala is no longer just a viral moment, she's a movement. The brand deals came through. Nike signed her to a multi-year contract with performance incentives that could make it one of the most lucrative deals in women's tennis. Rolex made her their youngest global ambassador. A major Filipino conglomerate partnered with her to launch a grassroots tennis program for underprivileged kids across the Philippines. The viral moment opened doors, but Alex walked through them with intention and purpose. Her ranking has climbed steadily. She's broken into the top 70 and is projected to crack the top 50 by year's end. More importantly, she's winning matches she used to lose. The mental toughness that went viral wasn't a fluke, it's become her trademark. Opponents know now that when pressure is highest, Alex doesn't crack, she thrives. Coaches around the world study her composure. Young players watch her matches not just for technique but for mindset. She's become a case study in handling adversity. But her impact goes beyond tennis. Back in the Philippines, she's a national hero. Kids wear her jersey. Courts that were empty are now packed with young girls wanting to be the next Alex. She's inspired a generation to believe they too can compete on the world stage. Her story has become a symbol of possibility, proof that with talent, hard work, and a moment of clarity, you can change your entire trajectory. The critics still exist, they always will, but they've been forced to acknowledge Alex is here to stay. She's not a one-hit wonder, not just a pretty face for brands to exploit. She's a real competitor with real skills and a real future. And as she continues to improve, the narrative is shifting from "was she overhyped" to "how far can she go?" That's the sign of someone who's earned their place. Her team is already planning long-term, Grand Slam preparation, Olympic ambitions, building a legacy that goes beyond rankings and titles. They know Alex has a rare combination: talent, marketability, and cultural significance. She's not just representing herself, she's representing an entire region underrepresented in tennis for too long, and she's doing it with grace, grit, and a smile that went viral for all the right reasons. Years from now, people will look back at this moment as the beginning of something much bigger, the moment when Alex stopped being a prospect and became a star, when global brands saw not just an athlete but an icon, the moment when the world realized sometimes it only takes 48 hours for everything to change. But here's the question that remains. Was this viral explosion a blessing, a burden, or both? And can Alex handle the pressure of becoming the face of an entire generation? Alex Eala's story is far from over, it's just beginning. What started as a single moment on a tennis court has turned into a global phenomenon that transcends sport. She's proven that in today's world, talent combined with authenticity can create opportunities that didn't exist before. The brand saw it, the fans saw it, and most importantly, Alex saw it in herself. The road ahead won't be easy. Expectations are higher than ever, the pressure to deliver Grand Slam results, to justify the hype, to carry the hopes of millions. It's a weight few athletes experience at 19. But if there's one thing we've learned about Alex, it's that pressure doesn't break her, it sharpens her. So keep watching, because this story is only getting started.